Antarctic Base, this is Halberd Aircraft 9090990. This is Solidus Scully out on patrol. Me and my buddy Chris here are requesting permissions to land on planet Gabu. Please open the hatchway and we will prepare for landing.
Okay, Chris, settle down carefully. Remember, angle of the dangle plus the beat of the meat equals the angle for the dangle. You heard me? Easy there. Easy there, steady boy. Remember what I taught you in flight school. Yes, boy. You're doing it. Sorry about that. Clear it on takeoff. Anyway, now that that's all out of the way, greetings, I'm Solidus Scully, and welcome back to Resident Evil Code Veronica. We're pretty much at the home stretch of the game at this point. I mean, this is pretty much the final area, and unlike Rockford Island, which really didn't see much change, was much more rigidly structured, yeah, the Antarctic base, though very similar in nature to its, well, destruction, the areas that we are familiar with are at least different enough to warrant a second go-around, and even in that case, a lot of the areas that Claire went through are either vastly different or you don't go through them at all, so yeah, jobs are good and pretty much. And of course, since Alexia is awake, yeah, these little plant tendrils are, well, dangerous. I mean, I'd honestly recommend using a knife to save your ammo stockpiles, but yeah, really, handgun bullets are a bit dime a dozen, so bugger it. Excuse me. Although, that being said, I can actually take a pretty decent bit of punishment, so maybe you should bring the knife instead, if you're skilled with it. I mean, if you get too close to them, they pretty much do back Chris back, so, yeah, just, be a little bit on your guard, keep your distance, keep it freaky, stay sleazy, and, well, whatever else. Oh, and one little benefit that, unlike Claire's scenario, we don't have to deal with the moths. And thank fuckity goodness for that, because, oh boy, that was a pain in the butt. But in any case, we still have the save room, and pretty much any other room beyond this point is, well, kinda useless. You're back! Welcome to the save room, Chris. I'm glad to see you're okay. Please, use the halberd to activate this little corner of the cupboard thing? Whatever, basically we get a little dice that the Alfred family used to, well, play craps with, I guess. And of course it's here where we begin to dive into the backstory of Alfred and Alexia specifically, and while it's not outright stated, it does pretty much tell you everything you need to know about the twins, and, well, their origins, because, yeah, as it turns out, they are in fact not legitimate heirs of the Ashford legacy, well, to a certain extent, because silly tongue. For you see, the reason why Alfred and Alexia Ashford are as creepy as they are is because, well, they're not actually twins, they are in fact clones of Veronica Ashford. This was pretty much what Alexander's plan was in the wake of Edward's death. Again, he pretty much had to spearhead his original project, and he wanted to get the Ashford family back onto the good graces of Umbrella's corporate hierarchy, for the lack of a better phrase. But since Alexander Ashford was kinda kappa shit, he intended to use Alfred and Alexia to, well, pretty much recreate a child prodigy, and of course, you know, use the clone Veronica's talents to basically foster the T Veronica virus that Edward... Excuse me, so sorry. Yeah, he wanted to use Alexia to foster, you know, her natural-born talents to basically, again, make the T Veronica virus project a complete success. Of course, again, when the twins ended up discovering this, basically they decided to use Alexander's plan against him by, well, again, as you saw before, using the T Veronica virus on him, turning him into Nosferatu, and again, it was through these test results that Alexia postulated that she needed to, well, again, as you will find out in a later document, that she basically needed to adapt her body to the virus's metabolic rate, so again, she basically put herself in cryogenic suspension, which basically slowed down her processes enough to adapt to the T Veronica virus, and of course that's why Alexia is running around naked and free, whereas Alexander Ashford is, well, dead. But again, unlike the G-Virus, or, again, indeed the T-Virus, we did see a few specific differences between what the T Veronica virus could do compared to the likes of, you know, the previous two I just mentioned, so... yeah, it does offer a few differences, and a lot of those will mainly be seen with Alexia, but again, given the game's predilection for ants and, well, insect-like appendages, yeah, I think you can see where this is headed. Also, I might be misremembering here, but I believe the T. Veronica virus also eventually became the basis for the C virus in Resident Evil 6. At least I think. I think there was like a throwaway line in Code Veronica X in one of the last cutscenes with Wesker in it, and I believe I think something in Resident Evil 6 mentions it. It's been a long time, but whatever really. And again, as you can see here, the door is open, and now we can pretty much grab the case that was inside, teasing us with its metallic presence. Not that we can really do anything with it, because again it requires a lockpick, which Chris doesn't have. I suppose if you put it in the item box, if you did the Rodrigo side quest, you could possibly pick it up there, but heck, whatever. It's pretty much something only Claire can access, and yeah, it's well worth getting, especially... Well, I mean, it's worth getting if you happen to take the fire extinguisher with you, and that's all I'm gonna say about it for now, because if you didn't, you are gonna get yourself pretty screwed over very, very quickly. Again, as mentioned earlier, you might be thinking that this area is pretty much just a rehash of, well, you know, the archetype. Oh, look, it's the same, but destroyed and stuff, but... No, again, this is pretty much the only real reused area they use. Well, I mean, there is one other place, which is, you know, the area that was flooded, you know, when Claire and Steve took the vehicle out, but... Yeah, after that, it's pretty much all new environments and new places to see. And again, with the area filled up with water, we can pretty much access doors that we couldn't access before, so, yeah, everything really just sort of pays off. I mean, I know a lot of people do have their criticisms of Code Veronica's, backtracking, but again, like, I mean, the Rockford Island segment of the game is the only one that really feels padded by design. Every other part of the game feels, well, done a little bit more methodically, and at the same time with a lot more freedom. And again, this area in particular... It feels like it was specifically designed, you know, for Chris, and something that, you know, the developers allow for a lot of freedom in the same vein as Claire, that feels deliberate rather than just padding itself out for the sake of, well, you know, just like, oh, we need to play more as Chris, throw some hunters, and, Claire's in another castle, blah, blah, blah. And again, as you'd expect, and actually a bit of a criticism I actually have for scenes like this, and not just Code Veronica specifically, but a lot of zombie games, like, I mean, you have, you know, the dun and, you know, zombies breaking out of the ice, and Chris is just standing there rather than running away or, you know, taking them down before they get to him, so who the fuck will be standing stock still while the zombies rise from their grave until you have to arbitrarily kill them? I mean, granted, you could just take the hits and run, really, but, I don't know, it's just arbitrary as hell. Not to mention, where the hell did all these zombies come from? Like, I mean, were they there when the facility flooded? Because, I mean, they sure as hell weren't fucking there when, you know, Claire and Steve were there, so what the hell's going on? Actually, hang on, were they working for Wesker? Is that what the implication is? Because, I mean, the reason why the, you know, the, other, zombies were at the Rockfort facility was because they're implied to be working for Hunk, but what are these people doing there? And who do they work for? Who knows? But, yeah, basically that won't come to fruition until Resident Evil 5, and, well, we'll talk about it then. If ever. Maybe. I don't know, I guess I just needed some enemies to fight, and, figured, yeah, fuck it, barrage zombies, go. But again, as the, little notebook mentioned, yes, we need to get 3 rings, which, basically allows us to access, well, the last bit of the facility. And again, that's basically the 3 rings of the Ashford family. You gotta get Alexander's ring, who is, right beneath the ice. You gotta get Alfred's ring, because who the fuck knows where he is. And of course, Alexia.
What? He's here?
Okay, you know what, that's a little bit fucking bullshit, because, like, oh no, you have to arbitrarily get caught, and there was no way you could possibly avoid it. That's, angrish. Solid Scully, sad. Steady, ooh, victim! I don't know. Again, yet another reason why I dislike the fucking camera system, because it feels too video gamey and arbitrary, and, yeah, every time you leave and come back to this room, the cameras will be active again, meaning that there's more hunters to drain your ammo and resources, and really, well, it's just kind of fucking bullshit, really, so, heck. I mean, they don't reactivate while you're in the room, it's only when you leave and come back, so... it's just pish. But again, greener pastures, new areas, and new places to explore. And even though we restored power to the other parts of the facility, this time we pretty much have to restore power to, well, this area, for some reason. Why? I don't know. But, yeah, unlike before, it really isn't as difficult as, you might think it is. It's pretty much just, you know, going inside the building, getting a few specific tools here and there, unlocking a few things, bada bing, we do the thing, and, well, it's all good in the hood. Again, it's really just, everything you can pretty much do in this room. So, no harm, no foul, really. And of course, yet another use of the fucking valve, and except unlike Resident Evil 2, it isn't anywhere near as arbitrary and usually comes up only when you need it, and even then you have access to an item box, so it's easy. Anyway, let there be electricity bills. And we got power. And actually a pretty cool facility theme now that I'm at it. I don't know, it's just, well, again, if you'll pardon the pun, it's really chill, but at the same time it's also, ambient as hell. Also get a buttload of handgun bullets, which honestly aren't quite as useful as you might think at this point in the game. But then again, as I mentioned before with Code Veronica's design, it will give you the handgun bullets not as an option, but as the answer. So, basically you gotta make do with kappa shit resources. Although, thankfully at this point in the game, again, if you were starving for ammo and health items at Rockford Island, yeah, this area does provide you a chance to get stocked up, but don't get complacent because, well, there are a few challenging trials ahead, so bear that in mind. But anyway, as I was mentioning before I got interrupted by the cutscene, it was like, oh no, Wesker is here too! Which, I mean, how exactly did he get here? Did he have a plane of his own? Did he run there using his Matrix powers? Did he teleport? I have no idea, but, yeah. Again, you pretty much gotta get the 3 Ashford family rings. 2 of which you can get rather easily, the 3rd of which is pretty much only accessible after a... well, pretty much only accessible after a boss fight, and, well, you'll see when we get there for the next part. But again, the main thing you need to concern yourself with is mainly getting Alfred Ashford's, his ring, and of course, Alexander Ashford's ring. Both of which are pretty easily available to get, but, yeah, just requires a bit of finagling about, really. So anyway, onwards to new adventure with the zombies. And I guess this is probably the most apropos place to use your, handgun bullets, if you want to save up your ammunition for the final encounter, which I would recommend that you do if you're, on a first playthrough, because, let me just say this, if you're not prepared, then the final boss will kick your ass to a certain degree where, again, if you're really not careful with your resources, you can actually end up soft-locking yourself into a situation where you might quite literally have to restart the game. Again, as I said before, unlike Resident Evil 2 and 3, this game doesn't fucking coddle you like a little baby bitch, so you really have to be prepared. Doesn't this look familiar? I can't remember if it was on Rockford Island or maybe something we'll get a little bit later, but yeah. You might be recognizing some familiarity to the, well, again, the Arkley Mansion, but yeah, that was intentionally designed, with even a little jape given to George Trevor, so yeah, all of this is intentional, and, well, again, something, I don't know. It's a nice little callback, and, at least different enough from, you know, the Arkley Mansion itself, so that, again, it has its unique environment. Like this incredibly weak tile that sinks into the ground. Heck, I guess the pavers were lazies. In any case, though, this is pretty much going to be the main precipice of what we're going to be doing here. Well, aside from picking up items and, doing the usual shtick. But, yeah, we also have a very familiar Resident Evil 1 style puzzle with the gems and the tiger. Again, you are pretty much getting plot essential items, so, pick which one. The left blue eye, that'll take you back into your dream, or you take the red eye and stay in Wonderland. And I show you that we get another doorknob, no psych, it's in fact the, socket, which is pretty much to make up for the fact that, again, we need a square we pretty much need a square peg in a round hole, because, well, again, the lathe machine is destroyed and we can't, well, alter our valve. I mean, the puzzle thing. Whatevers. And again, if we get the right one, what do we get? Reveal our prize, Mr. Tiger. And of course, we get some Magnum bullets. And you might be wondering, but wait, Mr. Solid Scully, you sexy, sexy hunk, we haven't got a Magnum yet. Well, you will soon, my child. But yeah, basically put both of those gems back in there for now, because there is a certain puzzle later on that will, let's just say it involves power and getting both of the gems. You'll find out why towards the endgame. Well, though, arguably we are in the endgame, but bugger it, there is also a reason why you want to go over here, and it's basically to get our first jewel. And it's also here where we get like a little prelude to Devil May Cry with squishy phantom babies. Although they do actually have the side effect of actually hurting Chris, so yeah, make of that what you will. And also, we're actually right beneath the final boss arena. So, a prelude of things to come, one might think. Oh yeah, and also, feathers. Make sure to collect them for maximum output. But yeah, you can also squish them, but they also bite. And again, the developers knew this because they pretty much leave basic green herbs around for you to heal in case you happen to feel a little bit ouchy. And you can also see the bloodstains that Alfred Ashford left behind. But what horrors does this place leave for us? Oh god, I'm so tense! And it totally isn't to do with the fact that the game is loading more of the environment. Well, again, it is a clever way of disguising it, but even still, it becomes very noticeable on repeat playthroughs. But yes, this is the cutscene where it all took place. Where there was a friendly but naive king who wed a queen. That was mean. And, whatever else. Again, pretty much what you're meant to do to solve this puzzle is basically use the, well, the dice that you got beforehand, and basically, well, find out which direction counterclockwise or clockwise to discover the answer, but again, you should be able to figure it out. Figure it out with a bit of finagling. Jesus. And again, when you're done, basically put the dice into the machine, and well, you'll see what happens. So on that note, I am Solid Scully, keep it new metal, and I'm sure we'll have no surprises whatsoever. Catch you next time.